Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about Dying with Her Cheer Pants On, Stories of the Fighting Pumpkins by Seanan McGuire. This is from Subterranean Press. I ordered, are we getting that without glare? Yeah, I ordered the limited edition hardback. Took a while. I pre-ordered it way last year, and it finally came in. I make it sound like it just came in. Came in, I think, in late October, early November of last year. But anyway, I finally got around to reading it, and this is a short story collection or a mosaic novel. I forget what Seanan McGuire calls it, but basically it's connected short stories that tell an overall, not an A to B to C beginning, middle, and end plot, but all the stories are connected. And anyway, and they're about the Fighting Pumpkins, a cheerleading squad in Johnson's Crossing, California, that fight the forces of darkness. This book's a lot of fun, and we start. The first story is Dying with Her Cheer Pants On. Just a moment before I get to that, what that is. There is an introduction by Seanan McGuire, a big introduction to the whole book, and then there's an introduction before each story that kind of gives you some context where they fall in place. And there is a copyright page in the back that tells you some of these stories have been printed previously. Some are new to the collection. So, Dying with Her Cheer Pants On, the first story, tells us it's the story of the previous cheerleading squad. After this story, we're going to meet the people who are essentially our characters through all the rest of the stories. There's a flashback story to decades ago, when the mother of one of our main characters was a fighting pumpkin. Anyway, hopefully this isn't all too confusing. So, the first story really just kind of throws us in here. We're thrown into the middle of the action. There's an alien invasion. I'm not giving anything away because that's in the introduction. An alien invasion. We're in the middle of it, and the Fighting Pumpkins are trying to find a way to save the world. And then, so we have that story, and then we hear noise from my phone, but what are you going to do? So we have that story, then we go on to the next story, which is now we're introduced to sort of the how the Fighting Pumpkins work, how these squads come to be. Excuse me. Try not to have too many spoilers, but essentially, when a new squad is needed, the handbook, the captain's handbook, just appears on somebody's, well, in this case, on Jude's bed. It is Jude, I hope. I'm pretty darn sure, since I just read all of these stories. So I'm just going to look. Yes, it's Jude. Of course it is. And then just flyers for tryouts mysteriously appear, and people start showing up to try out for the squad. Jude knows what's needed for this squad, and she knows that they will be called upon to fight the forces of darkness, and that they might not survive. And her mother is the one who was captain of the Fighting Pumpkins decades ago. So Jude has sort of a leg up, no pun intended. And so the Fighting Pumpkins, not all human, but I love the characters. I don't know. Should I skip more of the storytelling and get into the writing? It's well written. and the characters are a lot of fun. They all have distinct personalities, and some are more mysterious than others. And the stories are a good balance between just like really fun, kind of lighthearted, supernatural or monster stories with these cheerleaders fighting, and some are very heartfelt. Some get a little dark. There's a few that are kind of choked me up when I was reading them, and it all ties together. It's a mosaic, as I said, and Seanan McGuire herself in one of the introductions calls them kitchen sink stories, where basically anything can be thrown in, which is why you have supernatural monsters and aliens and how do I put it? Manifestations of concepts? I don't know if that's the best way to put it. So it's a really enjoyable, fun, supernatural collection. I hate to make the obvious comparison to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I'm not sure, for me anyway, that there's a way around it. But just as that show had some lighthearted episodes and some very dark episodes, this doesn't go quite as dark, I don't think. But it does have that mix of lighthearted and a little darker. Turns out, when I was looking at the copyright, I actually have an anthology that one of these stories originally appeared in. It's an anthology I have not read yet, which is why it was new to me when I read it here. But what is there anything else I want to say about this? Again, short stories, as always. I don't want to give anything away, so I don't want to, if I tell you what each story is, it kind of could give away the fun of reading the story. So just, it's cheerleaders, fighting monsters, well written, very, very well written, with very, very good characters. I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. I really loved it. I'm hoping there's a second collection. I believe Ms. McGuire said she's not through with the Fighting Pumpkins yet, and there's certainly, there's such a long history, she could follow any survivors there might be from the squad in this book. She can, as she did with one story, talk about the past. She could give us a new squad. All sorts of things that could be done if she cares to. I would be more than happy to read more tales of the Fighting Pumpkins. But this one is dying with her cheer pants on. I love that cover. Subterranean is a great publisher, and I highly recommend it. I don't know if there's much more to say about it. Oh, you know what? Looking at this cover, now that I've read it, I can see some very specific, one thing in particular, very specific to the stories. I could actually name now the characters on this cover. It's not just generic. Each of these people on the cover is a character in the book. I hadn't noticed that before. That's pretty nice. That's cool. They could have just been generic cheerleaders, but they obviously are not. Anyway, that's it. Dying with her cheer pants on. Tales of the Fighting Pumpkins. Highly recommended. 5 out of 5. So good. I'll have a link in the description below. I don't know if it's available in any edition other than this limited edition, because I haven't checked to see what other editions there might be, because I have this one. But we'll see. Hopefully you can, as I said, I'll throw a link in there, whether it'll be for a hardcover. I don't know if there's a paperback or an Audible or a Kindle, but hopefully you'll find some format that works for you, because you need to read it. Excuse me. All right. So if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you care to follow me on social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram is ErikSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. All right. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Erik Smith. And until next time, read more books.